What's up, comic book fans? Garrick here at Key Issues with another installment of How Bad Was It? The series that dissects comic books, movies, video games, and more to determine whether they were actually bad or not. Today's topic, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, as suggested by Duo Geeks. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the movie that killed the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man franchise and finally allowed Disney to get the wall crawler into the MCU. So, in other words, it's the greatest movie of all time. But in all seriousness, I have mixed feelings about the movie. The first time I watched it, I actually left the theater excited about the idea of the Sinister Six and the expansion of this universe. I actually did like it at one point more than the original The Amazing Spider-Man, but as the days and weeks and months and years went on, the movie started to sour in my mind, and then all the rewatches that I had done since and for this video, everything that I seemed to like just started to disappear, and it seemed like they didn't even really appear in the first place, and I kind of made them up in my mind because I like Spider-Man as a character so much. The movie begins and ends with Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, and they are without a doubt the best part of the film. Despite Andrew Garfield being 30 at the time and Emma Stone being 25, they do the awkward high school couple very well. I mean, Emma has been playing a high school student for the better part of a decade, so she's pretty used to it, but their relationship is actually very interesting and dynamic. Peter juggling his real life with his superhero life is what's really great about the character. We all relate to him. Well, besides the superpowers, we've all been that awkward high school kid who is trying their best to juggle friends, family, school, sports, band, etc. And that's what we love about Spider-Man. He's just like us. And they really nailed that part of the movie. I can't complain about the relationship issues when that's been a pillar of Spider-Man's character and his story since the beginning. But that's really the only thing it got right. This movie was so overstuffed, it was really impossible to follow every storyline. So I'm going to do my best here to try and list all of the storylines that I could pick out of the movie. First, you have Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. Then you have Maxwell Dillon's Electro, who turns evil because Spider-Man couldn't remember his name. I mean, dude, the first time you met him, you look completely different from the second time. The second time, you're bald, blue, glowing, you shoot lightning, and oh yeah, your teeth have been magically fixed. Not to mention, your voice sounds nowhere near the same.
Don't you know? I'm Electro.
Also, you have Harry Osborn, who is having daddy issues, and he's also pissed off because his friend Peter, who he hasn't spoken to in years, won't betray Spider-Man for him. Next, we have the Aunt May getting a second job subplot for some reason, plus Gwen Stacy is moving away to go to school. Peter is also hallucinating about Gwen's dead dad. Then we have Electro and Harry teaming up. We have the teasing of the Sinister Six. Oh, and did I forget to mention the hilariously over-the-top, and not in a good way, depiction of the Rhino, which ended the movie on a cliffhanger. Sorry to all Rhino fans. If you were excited to see this fight, just watch the trailer instead. Skip the movie because the entire fight is in the trailer. And the main issue is world building. Everyone that isn't Marvel has been so consumed with building an interconnected universe that they all miss the reason why Marvel's worked in the first place. It was built meticulously for years, starting in 2008 with Iron Man. It wasn't shoved all into one movie and then praying that your spin-off films make sense. Isn't this the same reason the franchise was rebooted in the first place? Spider-Man 3 was also overstuffed and ridiculous. How did they not learn from this the first time it happened? And it's not just the story that is terrible, the acting is on another level of bad. Jamie Foxx, award-winning comedic and dramatic actor with a range that other actors could only dream of having, is terrible in this movie. I'm not sure if it was just him or the director or a combination of both, but the decisions made for the Electro character were just downright horrible. The rest of the cast, save for Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, were so forgettable I can hardly remember their names, and I watched this movie twice in the past week. So let's continue with the string of horrible decisions with some editing and direction. I've already mentioned it once, but let's dig a bit deeper into the scene where Maxwell Dillon becomes Electro. He's asked to stay late to fix an electrical issue or something like that, and proceeds to plug in two obviously unstable cords together because his co-workers were too lazy to turn the power off for literally 5 seconds. Then he gets electrocuted, of course, and falls into an inexplicably placed tank of eels, which again magically fixes the gap in his teeth because, well, I'm not really sure exactly. This was the most ham-fisted supervillain origin since the Sandman in Spider-Man 3, and that's just one glaringly horrible issue in the directing and editing and all the choices that went into this film. I could go on and make a 2-hour movie about all the stupid decisions they made. Overall, this movie is just a bundle of disappointment, like a crappy all-you-can-eat buffet, where the price is the same as a regular restaurant, but instead of one good meal, you have a plate full of old noodles, stale pizza, crab legs that have been stewing in a puddle of lukewarm water for 3 hours, and some fried bread with sugar on top. But hey, at least you can get seconds. So, how bad was The Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the end of the day? Really bad. Like I said, there's one redeeming part of this movie, Emma Stone and to some extent Andrew Garfield, but spoiler alert, Emma dies at the end. And all hopes of a Sony-run Spider-Man franchise die with her. So those were my thoughts on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comments. Also, let me know what we should do in our next How Bad Was It? Remember the motto, guys, it's comics over everything, and I'll see you guys next time.